My comparison is as a pastor of meeting people all the time across my life from my earliest youth who claim to be Christian but are not willing to examine what Jesus said and did. We have 4 books in the Christian faith on Jesus. They repeat each other, but I've found many people who, I'm a Christian, but what about this love of the neighbor, even the neighbor who's mean and unlike you? And that clearly runs through the life of Jesus. But I've found many Christians who, that's too hard. Oh, that's too complicated.
It's statistical analysis of hate crimes, of racism, acts of racism, and so forth, anti-Semitism. Brian Levin, who is the head of the Center for Hate Crime Research at Cal State San Bernardino, has done extensive analyses on all sorts of data points. It's undeniable that we have seen in the past 4 or 5 years this intense upswing of people in the United States who are clearly acting out ways of the spiritual wickedness that you've referred to in the past, I've heard you speak of. How is it today that the legacy of the beloved community can best organize itself to counter these forces? Not just bringing people to the voting booths, but reaching the people who are espousing these ideas that could only be called neo-Confederate in many ways. How do you counsel people to deal with that today?
A major working principle of my own life has been very simple. You cannot overcome evil by matching evil, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Evil can only be overcome from a different level of an analysis of the problem. It has to be, the ancient literature says over and over again, you can only overcome evil with good. To find out how to do that, I think, has been part of my own lifelong pursuit. And so in my teaching today, it is about the power of nonviolence, the power of soul force. While many people have practiced that for more than 4,000 years, it is covered up in many ways. I mean, the U.S. history books that I've read in school, in particular, did not talk about strikes and boycotts on the part of people in the United States in order to get advancements in justice. The union movement does not get equal page-for-page analysis as does the business community. But it is the labor movement in the 20th century that pushed issues of safety in the workplace very often against the wishes of the bosses. It is the labor union that pushed West Virginia and Kentucky to recognize that black lung was a disease that coal miners came up with out of their work and the environment in which they work. It wasn't the owners of the mines. It was labor people. And I remember that in high school. The John Lewis of the Coal Miners Union often was in the newspaper over those issues. So my own short answer is that I have continued to try to teach people that acquiescence to evil is to participate in it. Finding ways in which your own life seeks to overcome evil with good or hatred with love is more complicated maybe, but it's the way forward. It's the way to really learn to live. Both Gandhi of India and King of the United States insisted that the human race has to see itself in a change of paradigm where power in terms of violence must be replaced by power in terms of love and soul force. And that if we don't make that change, however long it may take, we as the human family are in very great danger of destroying ourselves.